Hello. Let's talk numbers, shall we? All right. Let's do it. I'm not much of a numbers guy. Throughout the whole bike trip since I started, I didn't set any goals for miles a day or anything like that. The way I did it was I would just set a time. I'd get up, pack up my camp, typically hit the road after having coffee and breakfast at around 10 a.m. Bike a couple hours to noon when the sun was beating down, and go eat at a restaurant. And normally around 1, I'd head out and I'd bike as far as I could until the sun was going down, normally till 4 or 5, maybe 6, with a break or two in there if I thought about it or felt like I needed it. Um, so mileage was never really a thing that I thought of. It was just time. And then at the end of the day, wherever I found myself, I would camp. I became a big advocate for stealth camping. There's so much unused land, when you're biking down these roads. As long as there's not a no trespassing sign, I would just go in and set up my tent somewhere off the side of the road that looked appealing. And that really worked out well. I did have a budget for hotels and stuff, which I took when I needed a shower, or when I was north and it was raining, or I'm sorry, getting cold, or raining, but that mostly happened in the south, where I hit some rain. And then I started doing couch surfing around Memphis and met some awesome people through that app. I would highly recommend it. There's also warm showers, but I downloaded the app and it doesn't seem like the app's running. And then I found out that if you go to the website, you can access it there. But by the time I found that out, I was already on couch surfing and it was working for me. So without further ado, I used Google Maps, and kind of right before I did this, I just looked back at each day and calculated how much I biked each day, and what days I was on the road and what days I was hanging out. Spent the most time in New Orleans, understandably, if you've ever been there. Just a whole bunch of traveling transient people, who you can just pretty much hang out with anyone. It's like a whole different world. I loved it. Was only going to stay for a week, ended up being like 3 weeks there, and looking forward to going back. So, started on October 2nd and ended on December 13th. My total days on the road were 74 days. Total days biking, 42 days. Total distance biked, 1,998 miles. My longest day being 79 miles. And that was from Covington, Louisiana, where I visited a cousin who's a nun. And I took that all the way down to New Orleans. I remember this day because I was like, 20 miles from New Orleans, and it was getting dark. And I was just like, I just want to get there. I want to get into New Orleans. So I busted out, and that ended up being my longest day. So those are the numbers I got. Pretty interesting to look back on. And just wanted to share that because that's a question that seems to get asked a lot. Bye bye.